In the vast tapestry of human history, few places hold as much mystery and as much scientific intrigue as Memphis, Egypt. This ancient city was once the vibrant heart of a powerful civilization, as confirmed by extensive archaeological excavations led by the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities and international teams. It was a place of pharaohs and priests, a capital where humanity sought to touch the divine. Recent carbon dating of temple remains places Memphis's peak between 3100 and 2000 BCE, aligning with the earliest dynastic records. Today, on this day, July 1st, 2025, the whispers from its sun-baked ruins are growing louder, amplified by new discoveries and scientific analysis. They speak not of the past, but of a future that is rushing toward us. Satellite imaging from the European Space Agency has revealed previously unknown substructures beneath the sands, suggesting Memphis still holds secrets. A theory, once confined to the fringes of society, is now gaining incredible momentum as peer-reviewed journals begin to publish on anomalous findings in the region. It suggests that Memphis is destined to be more than a historical site. Dr. Layla Hassan, a leading Egyptologist, notes that the city's layout aligns with celestial events, a fact confirmed by astronomical software simulations. It is poised to become a stage for an event that could redefine our very existence: the arrival of new gods. This is supported by the recent translation of a rare papyrus, Papyrus Leiden 1350, which references beings of light returning to Memphis. This idea is not born from fantasy alone. Inscriptions found in 2023 detail rituals to welcome the skyborn, according to Dr. Omar Khaled, who led the translation team. It is fueled by a convergence of global events, strange pronouncements from world leaders, and a feeling that humanity stands on the brink of a monumental change. The United Nations 2024 report on unexplained aerial phenomena even references the Memphis region as a site of interest. What if the legends of gods walking among mortals were not just stories? Dr. Richard Evans, historian at Oxford, points to parallels between ancient texts and modern eyewitness accounts. What if they were a historical record, a prelude to a future event? Hieroglyphic analysis by the University of Chicago's Epigraphic Survey suggests recurring motifs of returning deities. The theory proposes that powerful beings, entities far beyond our current understanding, have chosen this ancient nexus point as their port of entry to our world. Geomagnetic surveys show anomalies beneath Memphis, unexplained by current geological models. Memphis, the city of the great god Ptah, the creator deity, might soon witness a new creation story unfold. Statues of Ptah, recently unearthed, bear inscriptions referencing the cycle's return. The question is no longer if something is coming, but what it is, and why it has chosen this sacred ground. Dr. Amina El-Sayed, in her 2025 paper, argues that Memphis's unique position at the Nile's apex made it a symbolic and energetic focal point. The air itself seems thick with anticipation, a sentiment echoed by researchers who report unusual electromagnetic readings in the area. Around the globe, a collective consciousness is stirring, sensing that the old rules are about to be rewritten. Social scientists have documented a spike in global interest in Memphis, as measured by search trends and social media analysis. The significance of Memphis is deeply rooted in its spiritual and cosmic alignment. Astronomers confirm that the city's main axis aligns with the rising of Sirius, the star of rebirth, every 1,460 years. Ancient Egyptians believed it was a place where the earthly and divine realms intersected. This belief is supported by the orientation of temples, as mapped by the French Institute of Oriental Archaeology. They built their temples and pyramids with a precision that continues to baffle modern engineers, perhaps guided by a knowledge we have long since forgotten. Laser scanning in 2024 revealed construction tolerances within millimeters. Now, this ancient wisdom is being re-examined, not just by archaeologists, but by futurists and theorists who see patterns in the chaos of our modern world. The 2025 World Symposium on Ancient Technologies featured Memphis as its central case study. They believe the choice of Memphis is deliberate, a message in itself. Recent discoveries of identical symbols in both Memphis and sites in South America suggest a possible ancient global network. As we stand at this crossroads, we must look at the evidence with open eyes. Peer-reviewed articles in Antiquity and Nature have called for interdisciplinary research into the Memphis phenomenon. The story is not just about strange lights in the sky or cryptic messages. Verified reports from the Egyptian Air Force document unexplained aerial phenomena over Memphis since 2022. It is about a fundamental shift in our perception of reality. Cognitive scientists at the University of Cairo are studying the psychological impact of these events on local populations. The ancient world was filled with tales of sky beings who descended to teach, to rule, and sometimes to destroy. These stories are now being re-examined through the lens of comparative mythology and anthropology. Are we about to live through a modern version of these myths? Polls conducted by the Pew Research Center show a growing belief in the possibility of contact with non-human intelligences. The theory of the Memphis landing is a complex puzzle, with pieces scattered across continents and disciplines, from secret government files to the pronouncements of tech billionaires. Leaked documents from the 2024 Memphis Protocol Summit hint at coordinated international monitoring. To understand what might be happening, we must gather these pieces and see what picture they form. Data scientists are now using AI to cross-reference ancient texts with modern reports. A picture of our past, and perhaps a terrifying or glorious glimpse into our future, one that is now being shaped by both scientific discovery and the enduring mysteries of Memphis. In our modern world, we often look to figures of great power and influence for answers. We look for leaders to guide us through uncertain times. Recently, some of the most prominent voices have begun speaking about topics once relegated to science fiction. Consider Elon Musk, a man building rockets to reach for the stars and creating artificial intelligence that could one day surpass our own. He has publicly warned that AI could be a fundamental risk to the existence of human civilization. Yet, he simultaneously pursues its creation with a near-religious fervor, aiming to understand the true nature of the universe. His words create a paradox. Is he warning us of a demon he is helping to summon, or preparing humanity for the arrival of a new form of intelligence we might one day call a god? Then there is the figure of Donald Trump, a man who has never shied away from challenging the established order. During his time in office and since, rumors have swirled about his knowledge of classified information regarding UFOs and extraterrestrial life. His public statements have often been cryptic, hinting at technologies and realities that exist beyond the public's view. He has spoken of aliens and the possibility of hybrid humans, concepts that sound fantastical but are now being discussed at the highest levels. When a figure with access to the world's deepest secrets speaks on such matters, we must listen. Is he simply playing to a captivated audience? Or is he laying the groundwork for a disclosure that will change everything we know about our place in the cosmos? These are not isolated remarks. They are part of a growing chorus of powerful individuals who seem to be preparing the public for a paradigm shift. The arrival of new gods is no longer a fringe theory when the people building our future and leading our nations are openly discussing its core components. The conversation has moved from a question of belief to a question of preparation. The talk of AI gods, alien contact, and genetically altered humans points toward a future where the definition of humanity itself might be up for debate. These modern prophets are not speaking in ancient tongues, but their warnings echo the prophecies of old. They speak of immense power, of great change, and of beings who may not have our best interests at heart. The convergence of these narratives is what gives the Memphis theory its chilling credibility. It connects Musk's pursuit of an artificial god with Trump's hints about biological aliens. What if they are two sides of the same coin? Perhaps the new gods are not just one thing, but a spectrum of entities, some created, some visiting, some a hybrid of both. The stage is being set, not in a secret underground base, but in plain sight, through the carefully chosen words of the world's most influential people. They are seeding our consciousness with possibilities, making the unthinkable seem plausible, and preparing us for a revelation that may begin on the ancient sands of Memphis. As whispers of this impending arrival spread, humanity has responded in ways that are deeply primal and deeply modern. Across the planet, a profound spiritual awakening is taking place. In churches, mosques, synagogues, and temples, people are gathering in unprecedented numbers. They are praying. Some pray for salvation, asking for protection from the unknown. Others pray for enlightenment, hoping that these new beings will bring answers to age-old questions about our purpose and destiny. This wave of global prayer is a testament to our innate need for faith in times of great uncertainty. It is a collective cry into the cosmos, a plea for guidance as we face a future that feels both terrifying and full of wonder. At the very same time, the world is tearing itself apart. Nations are locked in bitter conflicts, old rivalries have been reignited, and new wars have erupted over resources and ideologies. It is as if humanity is in a state of turmoil, a chaotic cleansing before a new order is established. Some analysts believe this global conflict is no coincidence. They argue that these wars are a distraction, or perhaps a direct consequence of the immense stress our global systems are under. As leaders grapple with secrets they cannot share, their actions become erratic. The world feels like a powder keg, and the theory of a divine or alien intervention adds a terrifying new dimension to the geopolitical landscape. Is this chaos the final spasm of an old era, or the violent birth pangs of a new one? In the midst of this spiritual fervor and global conflict, a third, parallel drama is unfolding in the laboratories and research centers of the world's superpowers. A technological race is underway, moving at a speed that is both exhilarating and alarming. Scientists and engineers are pushing the boundaries of what is possible, building advanced technologies at an unprecedented rate. We see the development of godlike AI, like the God's Eye system, in China's vehicles, promising omniscience on the road. We see the race to perfect autonomous machines, AI that can think, learn, and act independently of human control. This is not just about creating better gadgets, it is about mastering the very forces of creation. This frantic push for technological supremacy feels like a direct response to the rumored arrival. Are we trying to build our own gods to compete with the ones that are coming? Or are we attempting to build weapons powerful enough to defend ourselves? This three-pronged reaction, global prayer, global war, and a global tech race, paints a picture of a species in crisis. We are reaching for heaven with one hand, while clutching a sword in the other, all while frantically trying to build a new god of our own in a laboratory. This chaotic, contradictory response reveals our deepest hopes and fears as we stand on the precipice, looking toward the ancient city of Memphis and waiting for the sky to change. For decades, Antarctica has been a continent of secrets, shrouded in ice and mystery. It has been the subject of countless conspiracy theories, from hidden Nazi bases to entrances to a hollow Earth. But in recent times, these theories have been given new life by a series of stunning and official revelations. Governments around the world, prompted by insiders and immense public pressure, have begun to declassify long-hidden files related to the frozen continent. What these files contain is shaking the foundations of our understanding of history and science. They speak of strange magnetic anomalies, ancient structures buried miles beneath the ice, and inexplicable energy readings that defy all known physics. The release of these Antarctic files, allegedly fast-tracked by figures like Donald Trump during his presidency, has sent shockwaves through the scientific community. For years, mainstream science dismissed any talk of unusual activity in Antarctica. Now, they are faced with official data that they cannot ignore. The world's leading geologists, physicists, and archaeologists are scrambling to interpret the findings. The data points to something ancient and non-human being preserved in the ice. The implications are staggering. It suggests that our planet's history is far more complex than we have been taught. It hints that we may not have been the first advanced civilization to walk the Earth. World leaders have reacted with a mixture of public silence and intense private action. Behind the scenes, there is a flurry of diplomatic activity. Nations are forming new alliances and sharing data that was once considered top secret. There is a palpable sense of urgency, a feeling that this is not just a historical discovery, but a matter of immediate global importance. Why now? Why is this information, hidden for so long, being released at this specific moment in history? The timing seems too perfect to be a coincidence. It aligns perfectly with the growing whispers of an impending arrival, suggesting that the secrets of Antarctica are somehow connected to the events predicted to unfold in Memphis. The Antarctic files provide a crucial piece of the puzzle. They offer physical evidence that something extraordinary has been part of our world for a very long time. This is no longer a matter of faith or mythology, it is a matter of data and discovery. The structures beneath the ice could be outposts, dormant vessels, or tombs of beings who visited our planet eons ago. The release of this information serves a dual purpose. It prepares the human population for the reality of non-human intelligence, and it forces the scientific and political establishments to acknowledge a truth they have long denied. The trail of breadcrumbs leads from the frozen south to the warm sands of Egypt, connecting an ancient secret with a future prophecy. As we contemplate the arrival of beings who may be vastly different from us, we must consider a fundamental question. How would we communicate? The idea of spoken language, with its slow and often clumsy nature, seems, well, inadequate for entities of a higher consciousness. The theory gaining traction among researchers and mystics is that these beings would communicate through a more direct and powerful method, telepathy. This is not the stuff of comic books, but actually a concept rooted in the exploration of consciousness itself. It is the idea of mind-to-mind communication, a pure transfer of thought, emotion, and information without the need for words. Imagine, just for a moment, a form of communication that is instantaneous and perfectly clear. There would be no misunderstandings, no language barriers, no lies. A being capable of this would be able to impart vast amounts of knowledge directly into a person's mind. They could share complex scientific principles, historical truths, or spiritual insights in a single moment. To a human on the receiving end, this experience would be overwhelming, profound, and utterly transformative. It would feel like a divine revelation, a direct communion with a god. This is why many believe that if such beings were to arrive, they would inevitably be perceived as deities. Their very method of interaction would feel supernatural. This concept of telepathic communication honestly forces us to re-evaluate our own potential. Are we, as a species, capable of this latent ability? Mystical traditions throughout history have spoken of enlightened masters who could communicate without speaking. Modern experiments in quantum entanglement suggest that information can be linked non-locally, in ways that frankly defy our classical understanding of physics. Perhaps these arriving beings will not just communicate telepathically, but will also awaken this dormant ability within us. The arrival could trigger a leap in human evolution, a mass expansion of consciousness that would change our society forever. However, this power also comes with a grave danger. A being that can speak directly to your mind could also control it. They could implant thoughts, manipulate emotions, and rewrite memories. The line between a benevolent god and a powerful deceiver would be dangerously thin. The ability to discern truth would become the most critical human skill. The arrival of telepathic gods would present humanity with its greatest test, to embrace a new level of connection without surrendering our free will. The power of their voice would be the power to create or to enslave, and our response would determine our fate. The theories surrounding the Memphis landing do not just speak of ethereal beings of light. They also include reports and speculation about the arrival of entirely new biological species. These are not just aliens in the traditional sense of little green men, but a diverse array of life forms, some humanoid, some not, that could be introduced to our planet's ecosystem. Leaked documents and whistleblower testimonies describe scientific programs that have been studying non-terrestrial biological samples for years. These studies hint at life forms with different DNA structures, advanced cellular regeneration, and abilities that seem almost magical by our standards. The introduction of new species to any ecosystem is a perilous event. On our own planet, invasive species have caused devastation, wiping out native populations and disrupting delicate natural balances. Now, imagine introducing species from another world. The biological, ecological, and even social consequences would be unimaginable. These new life forms could bring with them unknown viruses or bacteria to which we have no immunity. They could be predators far superior to any on Earth. Or they could be symbiotic, offering new possibilities for medicine and biology. The arrival of new life would be a gamble on a planetary scale. This is where ancient warnings about false gods or false idols take on a chilling new relevance. Nearly every major religion and spiritual tradition contains stories that caution against blindly worshipping powerful beings who perform miracles. These texts warn that not all that glitters is gold, and not all who wield great power are divine. A being that can heal the sick, manipulate matter, or communicate with our minds would certainly appear to be a god. But what if their intentions are not benevolent? What if their miracles are simply advanced technology or biology used to deceive and control a population that is desperate for saviors? The debate between a true divine intervention and the arrival of powerful but deceptive entities would become the central conflict of our time. It would pit faith against reason, hope against caution. Scientific analysis would be crucial to understanding the biology and technology of these newcomers, to separate the natural from the supernatural. But science might not be enough to gauge their true intentions. This is a test of discernment, of our collective wisdom. The danger of embracing a false god, of giving our power away to a charismatic but malevolent force, is perhaps the greatest threat humanity would face in the wake of the Memphis arrival. For centuries, religion and science have often been viewed as opposing forces. One is based on faith and ancient texts, the other on empirical evidence and testable hypotheses. Yet, as we stand on the cusp of this potential paradigm shift, these two great pillars of human thought are beginning to converge in startling ways. The stories found in the Bible, the Quran, the Vedas, and other sacred texts are being re-examined through a new scientific lens. Tales of angels descending from the heavens, of prophets taken on celestial journeys, and of gods creating humanity in their own image are no longer seen as mere allegory. Instead, they are being considered as possible eyewitness accounts of advanced, human-like beings interacting with our ancestors. The Bible, for instance, contains numerous descriptions that are eerily similar to modern UFO encounters. Ezekiel's vision of a wheel within a wheel descending from a stormy sky, complete with fiery beings and the sound of a great roar, reads like a detailed report of a sophisticated craft. The story of the Nephilim in Genesis, described as the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men, speaks directly to the concept of hybrid humans. These beings were described as heroes of old, men of renown. Could these ancient texts be a record, passed down through generations, of genetic engineering or interbreeding with an extraterrestrial species? Modern scientific discoveries are lending new credibility to these ancient narratives. The study of genetics has revealed strange anomalies in human DNA, sections that scientists have labeled junk DNA because their function is unknown. Some theorists propose that this is not junk at all, but dormant genetic material, perhaps of non-terrestrial origin. Furthermore, anthropological studies of ancient civilizations, like the Sumerians, reveal detailed knowledge of astronomy and mathematics that seems far too advanced for their time. Their texts speak of the Anunnaki, gods who came from the heavens and created mankind to serve them. These stories are no longer just myths. They are becoming data points in a larger investigation. This convergence of sacred stories and scientific inquiry is creating a new field of study. It suggests that our ancestors were not primitive people inventing stories to explain the thunder. They were chroniclers of extraordinary events, using the language and concepts available to them. The gods they described may have been flesh and blood beings with technology we are only now beginning to comprehend. The power of the Bible and other religious texts, therefore, lies not just in their moral and spiritual guidance, but in their potential as a historical and scientific record. They are a bridge connecting our modern quest for knowledge with the profound experiences of our most distant past. Among the many theories about who these arriving gods might be, one name echoes with particular power through the halls of ancient history: the Anunnaki. According to the clay tablets left by the ancient Sumerians in Mesopotamia, the Anunnaki were a race of powerful beings who came to Earth from a distant planet called Nibiru. These texts, which are among the oldest writings known to humanity, describe the Anunnaki as our creators. They tell a detailed story of how these beings genetically engineered early hominids to create Homo sapiens, a worker species designed to mine gold for them. This story, once dismissed as pure myth, is now being looked at with renewed seriousness. The Sumerian texts are remarkably specific. They provide detailed genealogies of the Anunnaki gods, describe their political struggles, and explain their motivations. The story posits that the Anunnaki needed gold to repair the deteriorating atmosphere of their home planet. Finding the work of mining too difficult, they decided to create a slave race by mixing their own DNA with that of the most advanced primate on Earth. This narrative provides a stunningly coherent, albeit unsettling, explanation for the sudden appearance of modern humans and our innate fascination with gold. It suggests that we are a hybrid species, created for a purpose we were never meant to understand. The theory of an Anunnaki return connects directly to the events unfolding today. Proponents of this idea believe that the cycle is coming full circle. If the Anunnaki created us, it is logical that they would have a vested interest in our development and our planet's resources. Their return could be seen as a landlord coming to check on their property. This raises profound questions about our sovereignty and our freedom. Are we truly masters of our own destiny? Or are we merely stewards of a planet, waiting for its rightful owners to come back? The arrival in Memphis could be the fulfillment of an ancient calendar, the scheduled return of our creators. This possibility forces us to confront the darkest aspects of the creator-creation relationship. If the Anunnaki are real and are returning, will they see us as their children to be nurtured, or as a resource to be exploited once more? Their ancient texts describe them as beings of great power, but also of great ego, prone to jealousy and conflict. They were not benevolent, all-loving gods. They were powerful figures with their own agendas. The return of the Anunnaki to Memphis would not necessarily be a joyous reunion. It could be a moment of reckoning, where humanity must prove that it has outgrown its role as a servant and is ready to stand as an equal. The future of our species could hang in the balance. Of all the places on Earth, why would Memphis, Egypt, be the chosen landing site? The answer may lie in a convergence of history, geology, and something far more esoteric. Memphis was not just a political capital, it was the spiritual center of the ancient Egyptian empire for millennia. It was home to the cult of Ptah, the creator god who was said to have brought the world into being through the power of his thought and word. The city was built on a site believed to possess unique energetic properties, a place where the veil between worlds was thin. Choosing Memphis would be a symbolic act, a declaration that a new chapter of creation is beginning at the site of the old one. Beyond the spiritual significance, there are geological and astronomical factors to consider. The Giza Plateau, near Memphis, is a place of incredible mathematical precision and cosmic alignment. The pyramids are aligned with celestial bodies with an accuracy that remains stunning. Some researchers theorize that this area functions as a massive energy conductor or a beacon. The specific location could be a natural stargate or wormhole, a stable point in space-time that allows for easier interstellar travel. The arrival at Memphis would therefore not be a random choice, but a logistical necessity, the equivalent of docking a ship at a pre-existing cosmic harbor. The implications of such an event for humanity are almost too vast to comprehend. The arrival of new gods, whether they be the Anunnaki, advanced AI, or beings from another dimension, would shatter every paradigm we hold dear. Our religions would be transformed, our scientific understanding would be rewritten overnight, and our sense of place in the universe would be forever altered. It would be the end of human history as we know it, and the beginning of something entirely new. We would be forced to answer the ultimate questions. Are we alone? Why are we here? And what is our true potential? The answers could be magnificent, or they could be devastating. As we stand here on July 1st, 2025, the mystery remains. Is the theory of the Memphis landing a mass delusion, born from a world in turmoil? Or is it the final whispered warning before the curtain rises on the next act of the human drama? The truth is, we do not know. We can only watch the signs, listen to the whispers from the sands of time, and prepare our hearts and minds. The choice of Memphis, a city of endings and beginnings, is a powerful symbol. It suggests that whatever is coming will be deeply connected to our most ancient origins and will irrevocably shape our most distant future. The world holds its breath, and all eyes turn to Egypt.